Hi, beautiful ones. Namaste. Thank you for being here. If my content resonates, please subscribe and hit the little bell and share. Share on. Today I want to talk about shamanism, narcissism, and how shamanic practices actually look at narcissistic behavior or narcissism. I'm sure most of you can relate when I say that you've been in touch, in contact, in relationship with a narcissist in your lifetime thus far. May it be a teacher, a parent, a lover, a beloved, or even a child. Unfortunately, the industrial age and stemming back far long time, our world, our new world breeds narcissistic behavior, and it stems from just trying to survive. It really goes down to survival instincts. So what I adore and love so much about how shamanism works, because it looks at everything and not just a disorder or a mental disease or whatever we want to label it. There's truly no labels in shamanism, and I appreciate that so much. Because it's very easy to point the finger and say, oh my God, she's a narcissist and he's this, a sociopath, and he's a psychopath and they're acting like this. But what does it even mean? Who really came up with these labels? You know, and in shamanism, we don't look at that. We look at how a person is either connected or disconnected from themselves, from their family, their community, from spirit, from nature, or all of the above. So it really boils down to how connected or disconnected a person is. If somebody is deeply disconnected from themselves, even disassociated, a lot of distortion can come into that space because there's room for it, there's space for it. So the thing is that, what do we do with that? If you are in a relationship with a narcissist and first you're getting love bombed and you know you have that the floodgates of love open, but yet you don't really know what hits you when the first stone wall comes in, the first up to here and I don't let you in. What a narcissist, I'm going to use that label now, is really telling you is that they don't feel safe. That they have no reference point of that love that you want to share. That if their love is in their control and how much they give and receive, then they're cool. But if there's a love coming that is greater than the love they can feel for themselves, deeply within them, an embodied love, not just the woo-woo love that goes away after a day. Deeply embodied love, which goes back to basics. Basics. Then they have issues with truly letting that in. There's no space for it. So in shamanism, when we look at the relationship a person has with themselves, we look at what is their relationship with their mother, what is the relationship with their father, what is their relationship with their ancestors, what is their relationship with themselves. In which way are they in full support within themselves, full illumination to all their mishaps, their trials, their tribulations, their ups, their downs, their ins, their outs, their faults, their whatever it is. Do they own them? Do they take full responsibility for all of that? Or is there a disconnect? So that's just a little insight in how shamanism looks at mental illness or disassociation or any of this. Where has that person lost contact, lost touch with their divinity, which also is unity consciousness, which is grace, God, universe, which is that thread, that golden thread that connects us all. That golden thread that is so important at these times. So you can imagine, if you truly look at that kind of behavior, that a narcissist is in deep trauma with themselves. They have either dislocated, removed, or abandon parts of themselves in order to survive. Oftentimes that goes back to early childhood, where there was a disconnection from the mother or the father, or such a deep trauma, such a deep wound, that disassociation or that just abandonment of the own soul occurred. So what I notice with all behaviors like that is that there is a disruption of the energetic flow within that person. That there is a magnificent but also significant part within themselves that is not congruent. What they put out, the energy that they put out, is not congruent with what they're saying, is not congruent with their actions. There's often lies that are not even truly acknowledged on their own. They can't even be seen at points that they truly believe in what they're saying. And that there is just this disruption. So you will see that what a narcissistic person says, what they do, what they feel like, and what they portray to the outside as an energy is usually not jiving and not making sense. That's the first thing. So if you go back to the origins, it goes back into childhood often, where there was either an overuse of love, just completely exalted love from the mother or father, where the child was completely engulfed and showered with that love in a not healthy way. So even putting the child on a pedestal. Or there was an abandonment and underuse of that love. Scarcity, not enough touch, not enough love, not enough attention, presence, or no love at all. So you can imagine that when you're really, really small, that those two have significant impacts on your life. So in shamanism, when we work with this kind of behavior, we go deep in and do retrievals. We do soul part retrievals. We go in and do inner child part retrievals. We go in and talk to the underworld. We talk to the ancestors. We talk to the spirit world. We talk to the gatekeepers. We talk to the karmic imprints that have anything to do with the decision-making process of embodying this kind of behavior in this lifetime. And from there, we can shift some of the very stagnant energies that hold the person in certain patterns of survival. Because oftentimes a narcissistic person is stuck in either a sympathetic state of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. So they either want to run, they either want to fight you with words or actions, they either freeze and they cannot move, or they just comply, which is actually those last two are more seldom for narcissistic behavior. Fight, flight is way more active. Or they're in a dorsal state where they have completely resigned from life, where it's just like, whatever, I'm the idiot anyway, and this is just what it is. That's what I've been served in this lifetime. The end. A very, very sorry space to be in, and a very victimized space as well. And in order for that person to make changes, they have to first move from that dorsal space of resignation back into an adrenaline pumping state of a sympathetic state before they can eventually move into a parasympathetic state. So all these things you can imagine are very, very interesting. When we look in from shamanism, we don't just look at the behavior that person has with themselves, but also how is their connection to nature? Are they in deep reverence and reciprocity with nature? Or are they littering and they don't care and they have a ton of garbage and there's plastic everywhere and they don't care about the water they drink and how they use it and what kind of cleaning products they use and how they're misusing nature? Because it talks not just about nature, but how they see their feminine selves, which is a representation of Mother Earth, and how they see the femininity within themselves as the mother, the sister, the softness, the vulnerability, the insight, the intuition, the guidance, the light. Is there a disconnection there? Also, how is that person behaving in a social setting? How are they with tribe, with community, and so on? So you can see that just putting that label on somebody, she's a narcissist, he's a narcissist, it goes so much deeper. What is the relationship with everything? In order to release that control that narcissists often want, in order to feel safe in this world, we have to unravel all the stories of unsafety that are living and breathing within them, around them, and everywhere. And that's massive. It can be done, but it needs to come from a place of wanting it, of really making that decision of, yes, this is what I want. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my trajectory, my shift. I'm going to do this now. So that needs to come first. Without that, there's really little to play with. Unfortunately, in clinical terms, the recovery rate of clinically labeled narcissist, I think, is around 3%. So it's quite little. But in shamanic terms, to regain the soul and to go in and to find reverence again and truth and love within is very possible. So I leave you with that, my loves. Thanks for tuning in and being with me here. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please send me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Big hugs.